Welcome to Politically Crowded. I'm your host, Tony Haslage, and with me today are people whose names are very long because they have titles in front of them. Okay, to my left is Jeremy Last, Staff Sergeant Jack Ward. He's an Army recruiter here in Lorain.
How you doing?
Okay. Next to him is First Sergeant Kimberly Rocket. She's an Army recruiter coordinator. I wrote it in chicken scratch.
First Sergeant.
Yeah, I got that.
Company First Sergeant.
Okay, so you're basically the district person.
District manager.
Okay. And next to me is Jeremy Hudgens, our normal guy who's here almost like all the time. He actually slept on the couch in the studio. Public relations for anime and now radio club, radio station or radio club?
Radio club.
Okay.
Not radio station, that's a different entity.
Oh, maybe I should write that down. So, now we're going to start off with club. Okay, oops, I ran ink. A club.
We'll do it later.
Okay. We'll start off with militarily speaking. And, sometime around this, or way before this airs, you're probably going to hear a little commercial from First Sergeant Rocket talking about the military, or the Army's actually new accelerated Army enlistment option. And basically, now this is from what I understand, feel free to correct me, you basically enlist and you get a, well, how did I put it before? Crap on a cracker. Okay, so basically you enroll and they put you through a specialized field, and there's money incentives, 3 different forms I believe. It's one's like a payment, enlistment bonus, a repayment of loans, or I don't know what the other one is. It's like cash directly or something like that.
GI Bill.
The GI Bill. Oh, here's a question here off the top of my head. What does GI stand for?
Government issue.
Okay, see, because so that means GI Joe is Government Issue Joe.
Awesome!
I spent 3 hours last night going, what the heck does that mean? Okay, so my first question is, well, I guess this is my second question. My first question, my second question is, thank God I don't believe in editing because we'd be here forever. Okay, basically, what are we seeking for somebody who wants to apply for this program? Because I see there's a limit of 2%.
Correct. It's limited to the top 2% of the enlistments for each fiscal year. And within that, each of the 60 jobs has a limited number of positions available to each of them. It's only available to those who graduated high school and score in the top 50% of the tested personnel for each year. And for those of you who have taken the ASVAB before, that is, you score a 50 or higher on the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. Okay.
What would make somebody ineligible to join the Army?
What would make them ineligible?
Yeah.
There's quite a few different things that make you ineligible. The main thing we focus on is what makes you eligible to join the military.
Okay, well then maybe we'll go with that. Physical stature.
Well, to be eligible for the Army, you have to be between the ages of 17 and 35, must possess a high school diploma. Law violations depends on a case-by-case basis. I mean, you can't have like 5 or 6 felonies out there. 1 felony, we can submit a waiver. Physical demands, you must be able to pass a physical that we give, like asthma is a disqualification, leukemia and certain chronic illnesses is a disqualification for the Army.
There's no particular weight limit or anything like that? Or?
Yes, we do have a weight limit, and it's broken down by male and female, and it goes by age. So it depends on how old you are, how tall you are, and whether you're a male or a female determines what the max weight is for that. And if you are over that weight limit, we do give what we call the body fat test. And what we do is make measurements, depends on whether you're a male or female, put those numbers into the computer, and the computer will say, okay, you're at like 30% body fat, either you're qualified or you're not.
Okay. Now, there's a list of, I believe you said 60 jobs?
Yes, 60 jobs.
60 jobs.
Okay, now, MOS, military occupational skill, and it says that some are closed to women. Most of them are like infantry and crew members or certain things. So Why are those excluding women off the top of your head there?
Those are combat jobs, and the reason why women aren't allowed in combat jobs is because of the physical demands for those jobs, because we are built differently, than men are, and it's just certain things that we can't do. Like infantrymen, they got to carry 45 and 65-pound rucksacks on their back, and if you're a woman weighing 100 pounds, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. So it's just the physical demands that we can't be in those particular fields.
Okay. What is the average age of people who join the military usually? At least at this time in the day and age, because I'm going to ask another one in a second about the past, but,
The trend we're getting into right now is the last graduating year of 2003. They're still more or less focused on college right now. The ones that are joining right now are mostly the 2001, 2002 graduates.
So we're talking roughly 20, 21?
20, 21 years old.
Okay. Now, how late? Now, you said between the ages of 18 and 35?
17 and 35.
17 and 35, okay. What if somebody hits 35 while they're in? Do they get booted, or can they stick around a while?
No, as long as you enlist before you're 35, you're eligible for the Army.
Okay.
So you can join Thursday and turn 35 next week. You're still eligible.
Oh, well, okay. Okay. The next one is the draft. Basically, there's this. Oh, I'm not allowed to discuss that. Ooh, hold on. How do you circumvent this not to seem bad?
Cut, edit.
Oh, God, I can't do it. I was like,
You're going to have to edit it, dude.
yeah, no, we don't have to edit this because I can do this. Move on to the next topic. Okay. I'm sorry. It's like, whoa. Okay, next question. It's in my head. Oh, yeah. Now, obviously, with this program, you're offering incentives, and they include, there's three. Okay, the enlistment bonus, which is $5,000. Student loan repayment up to $18,000. Student loan repayment, I assume that if they've gone to college and then enlisted, that they're going to help them pay the money they owe as far as what they build up at the college? Or?
That's correct. That's the loans that you have already taken out prior to joining the military.
Okay, and there's supposed to be one here more. Okay, break down the GI Bill for us. I mean, is everybody on that? Is it, how do you guys get paid, or did it work into this? Or, I mean, you give us a little, because people see the commercials, they hear GI Bill, they go, well, what the heck's that? Associated with G.I. Joe, watch some cartoons, and never forget about the Army. So,
okay, with the 15-month enlistment bonus, you don't per se get the Montgomery GI Bill. They give you educational allowance, which is equal to what you would be receiving from the Montgomery GI Bill. For a 2-year to 6-year enlistment, you do get the Montgomery GI Bill. And how that works is the first 12 months that you're on active duty, you contribute $100 a month for the first 12 months. After that, the government puts in the rest of the money, which is between $27,000 and $48,000.
Wow.
And that, when you start school, after you decide whether you want to stay in the Army or not, that money comes to you in the way of a tax-free check each month while you're in school as a full-time student.
how much are these checks on average, or is this the $800 per month?
For a 15-month or a 2-year enlistment, it's averaging right around $800, depending on your course load. And anything above that, it can be anywhere from $835 all the way up to $1,388 a month tax-free.
Now, does this $800 per month, it's basically all they give you, or are they not going to help you with your college payments? Or, I mean, exactly, do you have to use this $800 towards your payments for college, or
can you use it any way you want?
Yeah.
You can use it to offset any expenses you're going to incur due to your education.
Okay.
Like, you can use it for...
Can't use it for beer and pizza.
No, you can't use it for that. You can use it to pay for your housing, your books, food.
It's a grant, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a pretty cool idea. I like that.
Yeah, make sure nobody goes off and buys what you just said, the pizza and the booze. Because we know how much we like the booze. Trying to make the military people laugh, it isn't working. Okay.
There we go.
Now, a little bit about each of yourselves. We'll start with the first sergeant. Is your family, or has your family been in the military a while? Are you the first, or?
I'm the first one in my immediate family in the military, and I came into recruiting in 1995, and since I've been in recruiting, I put 8 of my nieces and nephews in the Army or the Army Reserve. My husband is also active duty military.
Is he also first sergeant? Or?
No, he's a sergeant first class, and he's here in Ohio. We've been together since we've been in. We have a program called Married Couples Program. So if you're married to someone in the military, you're always together. It's not like they'll be stationed somewhere and you'll be stationed somewhere else.
That's a cool idea.
Have a 6-year-old daughter. It's just like a regular job. We just wear a uniform to work every day. If you come from a household where you got 2 working parents, it's the same thing.
So now you say you have a 6-year-old. How do you get a babysitter? Does the military, like a staff sergeant, come in and watch this kid while you go to work? Or?
No, she goes to school. She goes to St. Peter's School. I mean, it's just like if you was working and you had to go find a daycare for your child. It's the same thing. She goes to school during the day and then goes to after school care in the evening time.
Okay, does the Army provide you or your family any type of housing or anything like that, help you establish? Because obviously a lot of people associate armies with moving around a lot, so we would assume that maybe they help you find a place to live and whatnot.
I mean, yes, they do, and we do get basic allowance for housing, which means that our housing is paid for. You can opt to, let the government, get your house, which is called government housing, where everything is paid for, your rent, your light, your gas, everything is paid for. Or you can opt to get the allowance that they pay you every month, depends on what rank you are and what area that you're stationed in the country on how much that money can be. And it can range anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a month, depending on where you're at.
So which one do you think is the better deal? Or I don't know if you're allowed to tell me.
I mean, it depends on, like if the cost of living, if you're somewhere where you're going to make out money, like me and my husband, we both are eligible for it, so we get like $2,000 a month for housing, and my rent is $1,100, so it's better for me to opt to get the money versus, the government, getting the lease housing. So it just depends on each individual needs and what they're capable and financially, of paying for. I mean, if you have a wife and 3 kids and your wife is not working, it's probably best that you get the government housing where everything is paid for. You don't have to worry about paying any bills or anything.
What about food and stuff like that? That's a separate thing altogether?
Right. We get money for that too. It's called basic allowance for subsistence. It depends on where you're stationed at and what the cost of living is, and that can range anywhere from $190 to $275 a month.
Okay. Do you get paid monthly or do you get paid biweekly or?
You get to choose that when you go to basic training. You can opt to get paid twice a month. We get paid on the 1st to 15th, or you can just get paid once a month on the 1st of the month. So each soldier has an option to decide, how they want to break their military check down.
Okay. Now, as with most paychecks, is the military paycheck taxed? So you lose 25% somewhere in the translation?
They don't tax that kind of stuff.
The only thing that's taxed in the military is our base pay. But our money for housing, our food, any other special pays, whatever, is non-taxable.
Awesome.
Well, it is. I mean, I'm figuring, because I get Social Security, and I know that's non-taxable. So I would assume, that, hey, nothing gets taxable, although then you said you do get taxed for base pay?
Right, your base pay. And that is like what you're authorized when you come in. This is how much a private or E5, E6, E7, this is your base pay. That money is taxable because you still got to pay the Social Security and FICA. But everything else is non-taxable.
Are you considered like a salary or a wage type pay system based on hours, or it's based
salary?
Okay, so
we're straight salary, not hours. Salary.
Staff Sergeant Ward.
Yes.
Are you I see Junior in your name there. So, are you the first Staff Sergeant Ward, or is there a daddy Staff Sergeant Ward?
I'm the first Staff Sergeant. My dad was in during Vietnam. He made it up to specialist.
Okay.
But his job was a little bit perilous, so he just got out. He was putting telephone lines on telephone poles in Korea and Vietnam, so he decided it wasn't for him.
Sounds like fun. I mean, the sound effect of the bullets going past my head. Okay, okay. So explain a little to us about not necessarily as deep into the background as a first sergeant went into, but a little bit about how you joined the Army and.
Being an Ohio native, I graduated from high school down around the Alliance area in 1990. I tried the college option, found out that financially I couldn't do it alone. And I started looking at my other options and found out that the Army is actually a better option because I get my education and they help me pay for it at the same time. Okay. I've been in the Army for about 12 years now. been married almost 8 years of that 12. So it's a pretty good option in my life.
Again, do you move around a lot, or?
Moving around a lot, no. It's just, if you want to move a lot, that's something that's available there. But I like the stability. I was at Fort Campbell, Kentucky for 7 years. I was at Fort Drum, New York for 3 years. And I've been out here on recruiting for a year, and I had a little bit of National Guard time in there too, where I came home for a while.
Yeah, how do you like Lorain?
It's different from the where I'm from.
Yes, Lorain is different.
It's different. Yeah, it's totally different.
First Sergeant, how long have you been in the Lorain area here? You're actually where again?
I'm in North Bridgeville.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. I lived there for 11 years. That's why.
I've been here since August of 2003. I came from Detroit. I was stationed in Detroit for 8 years.
Boy, they just made it easier. I know that Detroit's like crime, and Lorain's like, they do crime. Okay. I'm not going to ask you what you think. You'll probably tell me it's different. Lorain is less crime.
Much nicer, I can tell you that.
I've been heard horror stories about Detroit.
Yes, I can tell you a couple after we're done.
Okay. Now, before we go to commercial, obviously, I want to give you the opportunity to say anything. I don't know. Will this program be active this summer, or is this a short-term program? And we're talking about the Accelerated Army Enlistment Option.
Right, yeah, it'll still be active as soon as the 2% is met in each category for each of those 60 MOSs, and then it'll be cut off, so we don't know if it's still going to be around or not, depending on how fast people are coming to join or whatever. So far in this area, we have, I can tell you since the program started, just in Ohio alone, we've enlisted 55 people for this program.
So that means you only can take 5 more?
No.
Okay.
That's not,
how do you get to 60 people now? Well,
not 60 people. It's 60 MOSs. It's 2% per job. Depending on what the cap is for the Army, like if you need 18,000 infantrymen, it caps out at 2%.
Okay.
Okay.
All these numbers making my head hurt, but I understand.
Okay. Now, there are 60 jobs listed here. And before we go to commercial, my question is, which ones do you see the most popular and least popular?
The most popular right now is what we call the 91 Whiskey or healthcare specialist. We're finding, especially out here at LC, there's a lot of interest in it because it translates over into a nursing degree. That is basically the nursing program for the United States Army.
It's called 91 Whiskey?
Yes.
It's W. You know how they put names on things with letters.
Oh, okay, cool.
Probably one of the least is probably 11 Bravo. It's one of the frontline soldiers, the one you see on CNN every day out there holding the line, making sure everything's staying straight.
It's like infantry? I don't see it on the list there.
The first one, 11 X-ray.
Oh, okay. I think you said Bravo. I was like, I don't see it. Okay. Any personal preference of your... if it was you, First Sergeant, what would be your personal preference? Being that you know what you know now, but you're just starting out. If that makes any sense.
Probably the motor transport operator, like motor transport operator, food service specialist, automated logistics specialist. Those are just like support jobs for the Army, and those are jobs that you can translate, when you go out, for someone that's just looking for a skill, and those jobs are popular too for the 15-month enlistment, for those people that just want to come in, get a skill, and then get out.
Okay, so what about, I can keep looking at these titles like Staff Sergeant, First Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, First Sergeant. Okay, so Staff Sergeant, if you knew what you knew now, what jobs would you choose out of this list here?
With the background that I grew up in, being in the outdoors, the infantry is, any of the combat MOSs are particularly what I'd be interested in, just because it's outdoors all the time. You get a lot of good schools in there. For all of you that watch Black Hawk Down, stuff like that, you can get Ranger School, Sniper School. All of them are available.
Okay.
Right, and also in conjunction with this, we do have a PAYS program, which is the Partnership for American Youth program, which means like some of these jobs that kids that's coming into just trying to get a skill, we can guarantee that they're going to get a job when they get out of the military. With companies like Pepsi Cola, GM, they may not come back here to Lorain, but they give us a list of jobs all over the United States on where they can go work at after they get out of the military.
And would the military help them with their housing too there, or would they?
No,
try to find them a house? Or?
Right. Once you get out of the military, when you're getting out, we have a program called ACAP, and what it does is you go there and they sit down with you, do a resume, help you find a job, help you find a house, and so forth like
And
that, so you can
you're on your
transition.
own, then.
That's correct, sir.
Cool.
Well, at least they help you get that far.
Yeah, at least they help you
Don't
get
do
that
it.
far, which is a cool option.
And the college is just doing that now, so it's like, yay, whenever I finish my 20 years here. Okay, now the last question is because when I was in high school, we had JROTC. What is that for? Was that for
Junior
that?
ROTC. That's what we said down south is junior ROTC.
ROTC, is that Army or Marine?
Each school has different branches. Like around here, Southview
that's
and
right.
Elyria High School, they both have the Army ROTC program.
Okay.
Marion L. Steele and Amherst has a Navy ROTC program. It's just whichever schools are going to get funded by which branch is what dictates it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mom.
And one thing that it helps out on too is the ones that stay in it throughout between their freshman and senior year, they actually get a promotion coming on to active duty now.
Ooh.
Very cool.
So what would you start with if you didn't have this promotion, and then what is a promotion?
If you're not in ROTC, there's two ways that you get promoted still. One, get one of your friends to join with you or after you before you go to basic training. And two, we teach and test you on some of the basic soldier skills that you're going to need to learn in basic training. You can get promoted both ways by doing both of them. And you can get promoted up to a private first class.
Okay. Now, when I was in Boy Scout, they once told us that if you get like
Eagle Scout.
Yeah,
you can get
Yes.
promoted off Eagle Scout also.
And I got my
To E2, yes.
I got my first promotion coming in the Army as an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And for the females, you also get it for the gold badge in Girl Scouts.
Counts. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my next question. Okay. So we'll wrap this segment up here, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, we're back, and if you missed the last segment, and then rewind the tape, and I don't know, people don't even record. This is internet radio. What am I talking about? Okay. We're going to move on to health care and health insurance and hospitals and all that good stuff in general. Now, obviously, we have the first sergeant and the staff sergeant here with us. And my question to you are what is the health care like with the military?
Oh, the health care benefits are excellent in the military. For active duty, they pay 100% of our benefits. We don't pay for anything. No medicine, no doctor visit, no copay, no nothing.
It's like Medicare times 1,000.
And for your dependents, like if you got dependents or whatever, like you don't pay any copay or anything. The most I pay is like $3 for medicine for pharmacy, and the military pays 80% of the hospital bill, and the soldiers responsible for paying the 20% if they go in the hospital. But there's no copay every time you go to the doctor or anything.
That's amazing.
I was going to say, staff sergeant, you get the same deal, but
Yeah, it's the medical's the same for everybody. Now, there's one thing that they did come out with about 2 years ago is the LASIK surgery for free. But to get that, you have to be in a combat arms MOS.
okay. So, any of you looking for a 23 and 26-year-old male that
Male,
wants you
female.
no, I mean, I'm talking about me and him. One of us moves in one year, the other one moves in the other one year. I don't have health insurance. I don't know what he got.
I do have. I don't say unfortunately because I do want to get a job and whatnot. But right now I'm on Medicare and Medicaid, and like them, it's pretty much paid for. Mm-hmm. And because I have a disability, I'm also on my dad's, so I never really have to pay a bill. Now with their $3 thing though. Every once in a while, I will have to pay $3 for something if I get antidepressants or whatnot. So I do have to pay that, which kind of stinks because I don't have $3 anyway. But
Welcome to my world. Okay.
But yeah, it's a cool deal.
Okay, now Canada has a national health plan, and I don't know how up you guys are on current events, because again, like I told you earlier before the show, I envision you guys sitting in one big room watching one channel, everybody surrounded the TV, and it's usually probably sports or something with heavy combat, and yeah, because I'm just picking off the stereotype you see in every movie, So my question is. Now, I assume both of you have been outside the United States, right?
Yes.
Now, have you guys experienced like other healthcare systems outside of the country? Could you explain a little bit of the differences you've noticed? Like, for example, Canada's, because I don't live in Canada, and I hear they have this nationwide healthcare thing. But
it's supposed to be awesome. I mean, I'm not knocking Canada, but it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, but I mean, the difference is you've gone throughout the world. You've noticed different types of healthcare. So, tell us where you've been and describe a little bit about the healthcare systems.
I mean, I've been to Germany, and being in the military doesn't matter where you at, whether you overseas, in the States or whatever, the health care is the same. You just have to go find a civilian doctor if it's not a military facility on post.
Oh, so you actually posted off military, like you live in a house in Germany and, that's it?
Yes.
Wow.
Cool. Okay, well then maybe we'll turn the discussion this way. Medically, are Germany and other countries like that as advanced as America? I mean, do you feel safe, elsewhere than when you're here? I don't know. I'll give Cleveland too much credit here.
Boy, how do you word that question? Because I was trying to think of that.
Most of the countries that the United States deal with are working on the same medical standards that we are.
Okay, cool. So the same they pretty much have the same technology that we do.
Right.
They have to get certified, through the VA and so forth. So their technology is the same as ours.
Very cool. Because sometimes, Now, you said you were over in Egypt?
Right. I was in Egypt. Actually had the misfortune, if you want to look at it that way, to be in an Israeli hospital for 3 days.
Wow.
The health care there is identical to what we have here.
Oh, really? Okay, well, cool. Because sometimes, every once in a while, I hate to go with the stereotypical war movie, but you see them, they're in sand, they have tents, and it's just like, they have maybe one scalpel,
That
pass it around from
they pass it around. Yeah. It's just like you see that in your stereotype, but they do have the standards that.
Right. And
okay, cool.
Even the Army field hospitals, which you're seeing in the movies, they have certain standards of cleanliness that they need to uphold.
Right.
Once they use an instrument, it has to go all the way back to the United States, get sterilized, resharpened, and all that. From there, they either go to Germany or come back to Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. to get further treatment.
Oh, cool. So, well, at least, hey, I'd feel safer if I was in the military. Yeah, cool.
Okay. Have you ever been to a third world country, or most of the countries you've been modern, or I don't know?
I've been to Somalia. I went to Somalia for 6 months.
Okay.
What was that like?
Something that you don't believe in until you get there. I mean, it was horrible. No government, no place to live, no housing, no running water. I mean, it was just like some stuff that you see on TV, in Africa. And you were like, is that real? You see tribes of people, they raise camel. That was a big thing there, and they're trying to sell camel to get money to supply food for their children. And it was horrible. They have nothing.
Right.
The whole country is like homeless.
Wow.
Egypt is pretty much the same way. You get out away from the major metropolitans like Cairo, Sharm el-Sheikh, them places. You're getting out into the tribal areas of the countries. Israel, a lot of it is just like here in the United States. And then you get into Jordan and Saudi Arabia, which I've also had the opportunity to tour through while I was in Egypt. It just depends on what area you're into, what it's actually like.
Right.
Okay, now Jeremy, you are. If anybody doesn't know Jeremy has a. I
have cerebral palsy.
Yeah. So.
Which is a paralysis of the muscles.
Okay. And how now you get Social Security?
Yes, I get Social Security and social and disability. Yes.
Okay, can you go into a little detail how it works for you?
What, like how Social Security works for me?
Yeah, I mean.
Well, really, what happened? Well, how did I get it?
How much you get?
Well, I don't mind. I get. I won't tell you the exact. I get just about $600 a month. Just about. I don't like it per se, and the only reason why I say I don't like it is because it's not enough, and they only do it for you to get by, which is great, but I want to be. I'm not going to be the type of person. I don't want to live on this until I'm 90. I want to get out and work in the field. I want to, because I went to school for 6 years for computers. I want to get a job in that. So I mean, I'd rather be earning $10 an hour than collecting a check every month, But unfortunately, right now, I'm collecting a check. So until I get up and started on my own, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Now you said that health insurance, the coverage at least was similar.
It's pretty similar. Medicare and Medicaid, they pretty much cover everything. And then because I'm disabled, the cool thing that the government did do is that I'm allowed to be on my dad's insurance until he dies. So that's another cool thing. And it's pretty much like theirs. I did get a letter in the mail sometime in January about the $3 thing, which is, I think that's only for antidepressants. So, which sometimes is cool and sometimes it's not, because when you start refilling your medication, it gets a little pricey. But it's pretty much just like how theirs is, really. It's theirs is probably, I guess you'd maybe call it a glorified Medicare and Medicaid, but that's just me. I mean, that just gives it in my own head what I think of how your guys' health insurance is.
Do you guys get a little card that you go around and like flash and go, hey, free meds? You know?
We got an insurance card, a TRICARE card.
That's cool.
Or you can just use, if you're active duty, you can just use your military ID card. That's your insurance card.
You guys can go to Hot Topic and get 15% off too. It's awesome.
Listen, Hot Topic is the what is it?
Antichrist?
It's the I can't remember the store's name. There's another store in the mall. It's exactly like Hot Topic, but not as grim. I'm trying to remember it.
Whatever. What, Anacrombie?
Spencer's. It's the anti-Spencer.
Oh, yeah.
It's because it's like the total dark opposite of Spencer's. Okay, anyway. We'll take this time to take a break, and we'll be back. And if you watch Comedy Central, it might be interesting. So stick around, and we're back. One quick note here: Ray Torres Jr. is like the most awesome producer, because he's like doing all the right side. No offense to Sandy Morris, but wow. There is a goal to live up to here. Okay.
Hey, we love you.
We'll move into the next topic, which Comedy Central over the last week is presenting their list of the 100 top stand-up comedians. Now, obviously, I know who the winners are. I don't think anybody else.
I only caught like 3
I didn't
minutes
watch
of
it.
Yeah. So, but you don't have to watch it to say if you watch television at least once, I assume,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe there was somebody who was really funny on it, or maybe you went to see a live show. But if you had your pick of who you think would be the funniest comedian, who would it be? Who makes you laugh? Who makes you laugh, cry? Who makes you pee yourself a little? Milk comes out your nose because this guy does it, or this guy or woman, I should say, either one of the two. So, and then we'll start with First Sergeant.
I would say the funniest comedian right now would have to be J. Anthony Brown, who hosts Comic View. I don't know if you all watch that on BET.
Yeah.
He watches Comic View. He's the funniest guy out there right now.
So what type of material does he get into? Is it political? It's observationist?
His is mostly his real life stuff. You know, he talks about his ex-wife in his comedy. He had like 3 or 4 different wives, talking about how they took him for his money. So I mean, his stuff is real live stuff, and he does a lot with the audience. You know, he interacts with the audience. He rags on you out there or whatever. So he's on top of his game when it comes to comedy. You know, he doesn't write down anything or practice anything. It's just all at the top of his head. And that's what I like about him.
If you came to this area, would you go off and pay I think the average rate for right now is $32 to go see a comedian live. So would you pay the money to go see him live?
Yes, I paid money to go see him live.
Okay. Because this is where I'd go, guess what? Guess who got the studio? But we really don't because, and I'll get to this afterwards, so we'll move on to, oh crap, I want to look at this. Okay, Staff Sergeant, yeah. Mixing sergeants up again. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, so Staff Sergeant Ward, you say you never watched television, but come on, you had to like watch, something. You had Sullivan Show, maybe.
I ain't quite that old. But I'd say my 2 favorite right now are Jeff Foxworthy and the Cable Guy.
Okay, yeah.
We're talking, what is, they're part of one crew. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't remember.
White collar, blue collar, one of the two.
Redneck.
Yeah, well, I got that, but the blue collar or white collar comedy tour people, they're both on that tour, I believe. Oh, yeah, so go ahead. Jeff Foxworthy.
He's, I haven't heard his name in like 2 years.
Yeah, but he's on the road. He's active right now.
He was actually in Cleveland last month.
Was he?
I went and seen him and the Cable Guy last month.
Wow, how much did those tickets run you? And you said in Cleveland?
Yeah, it was about $35.
That ain't too bad to see 2 comedians at the same time. There you go.
Yeah, well, you got the deal on that.
Get her done.
Let's see. What is Jeff Foxworthy's catch line again?
You might be a redneck if.
Ah, yes.
Oh man, I've got a whole book of those, and I tell you what, I read that whole book, and I was like, oh my god, this is some of the funniest stuff. And then it's like some of it you see it and it's true. It's like, oh, that's scary, you know.
Okay. Now, Jeremy.
Well, I have a couple. When I'm in a crappy mood, or just in an screw the world kind of mood, George Carlin, because I mean some of his views are really odd. I don't like when he talks about religion, because that's when I turn it off. Because even though I'm not the most religious person, it still offends me. He's pretty funny. I like Dave Chappelle, and there was another guy that I like too, but and Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard has got to be really funny too. That guy just made me laugh from beginning to end. So those are like my three kind of favorite guys. If you want to pick a top one, I'd have to go with Carlin because he's just been there for years. I love his older stuff. His newer stuff, it's kind of on of like, but especially when he did Al the Hippy Dippy Weatherman, that was sweet.
Yeah, George Carlin has been involved in comedy for over 40 years.
Yes.
And his famous 7 bad words you cannot say on television.
And I always say them.
For the last 40 years, he's been an advocate for comedians, and it's been repeated visits to the Senate and Congress and courts and FCC and God knows what else, just trying to prove his point that sometimes people take things too literally or too personally.
There's one thing that made me laugh really loud, and it was the state prison farms. And I thought it was the most great. Now, be it as it may, I mean, it's kind of weird, but if we could have a place to put, like, the 4 different groups of how he categorized them, that'd be kind of cool.
I wish I would have known what you're talking about.
I'll tell you afterwards. It's pretty sweet.
Okay. Now, on the list of the top 100, the top two were George Carlin.
Okay, of course.
And Richard Pryor.
Wow, was he number 1?
Yes, he was.
Really? You think Carlin would have been? Wow.
I would have thought with Carlin's experience, 40 years over time, he would have been. But Richard Pryor was number 1 because he had a cocaine habit.
Right.
And it actually caused him to combust. And
is he dead?
No, he's not.
Okay. Well, no, the way you said combust, I thought he died. Man.
No, he caught on fire.
Oh.
Right.
And one of the things he said after that event, he said the first time he ever tried cocaine, his bed caught on fire. But he was so slow to understand what he was doing that it took him to catch on fire before he actually understood that cocaine was bad. And when he stopped doing it, obviously being charred was pretty good reason to stop. He turned it into his act. So the fact that he influenced so many people and showed them the result of what his negative action was, if some would consider cocaine bad. I personally do, but I hear in Coca-Cola in the 1800s. Okay, anyways, sidetracking aside, you did not know Coca-Cola had cocaine in it in the early 1980s?
I heard that.
Yeah, that's like the big, I don't know if, we'll say myth. Right
okay, so that act, it was the first time somebody had used such deep personal issues and brought them out into the comedy scene. Now, my thought was, it's actually, I would have a hard time calling between Carlin and Pryor because, now, Carlin, again, 40 years, Pryor at the time, maybe 10 years, and then 10 more years after that, and then doing movies before he got sick. So, I mean, it's like, well, you think, you go, man, I don't know, because, back in the 70s and 80s, Pryor wasn't really breaking any, like, racial barriers because, they were, at least 5 years to 10 years behind him when he started up. So I guess it's just the experience, the emotion of his experience and how fans take it that brought him to number 1. So now the 7 cuss words. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go into that and we go bleeped out the whole 10 seconds there. Okay. Now, coming up soon, and for anybody listening, obviously this has happened long ago because it shows like 10 weeks behind schedule. the student senate will have their elections here. Now, obviously, we all know that and by the time this airs, it should be right before primary time, or no, the main election.
It should be pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, Bush is going to be running, and Nader, and oh crap,
John Kerry.
Kerry.
Yeah, there you go, John Kerry. I'm like, oh, what the crap is his name? Now, and this is probably, I don't know if this is touchy. Are you guys allowed to have political views? No. No. Man, I should have asked a lot of questions. Okay, let's put it this way. Are you allowed to tell me what you look for in a president? Because obviously this guy's supposed to be your leader, no?
No, can't say that.
Touchy again, too. Wow. You have anything you would like to talk about?
Nah, all right, that's cool.
Okay, so now you guys do watch television or go on the internet, right?
Yes.
What type of activities? Because I don't know, maybe it's me, but I assume you check out the Army website a lot. You know, you're like the...
No,
He's like,
doing work.
my page is Yahoo.
So what do you do in your spare time? And we'll start with First Sergeant.
Okay, I like to spend time with my daughter. We bowl. She's in a little bowling league now, so we go bowling. She's into ballet dancing, so my schedule is pretty busy, you know, once I get off work, you know, during the weekday. Then on the weekend, her and my husband, we always go to the movies every Friday on Family Day. And Saturdays, we, you know, cook out and just spend, you know, quiet time at home.
Got another question. What movie did you guys see this past Friday?
The past Friday, we seen Johnson Family Vacation.
Well, that movie was like number 2 or 3 in the
Really?
weekend's
I think
rankings,
Kill
yeah.
Bill 2 probably got number 1 then.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, we seen Johnson Family Vacation. That was pretty good.
All right, it was pretty. Cedric the
Entertainer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He played, like-
Now I'm going to have to see it because he's in it, because he's funny too.
Yeah, it was
he played
really good.
He played a lot of the roles in that, didn't he? Like,
Yeah, he had a
some
couple of
uncle
roles
stuff,
in it, yeah.
He does that in every movie. I noticed that in Barbershop too.
Yeah. Got like four different
He's
people.
almost like an Eddie Murphy in like Coming to America.
Yeah.
Remember, like in the barbershop, he played everybody but the one old black guy who thought that one.
You mean Arsenio Hall?
No,
Eddie Murphy. He had like 5 parts.
No. Eddie Murphy played him, but I swore Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio played the other guy.
He played one person in there, but he played everybody but the one black dude who always is like, that dude good. I forgot his name because he's like sexual healing or whatever.
Crap, I had the name too. It's like, what is it?
Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy.
No.
What, that guy? The other guy?
Yeah. See, I had
remember.
the name, and oh crap, I can see his face too. That sucks.
Yeah, I can too. I can too. I don't know his name. Yeah.
Next show, we'll remember what his name is. Now, so how many hours a week do you work? I mean, I assume since your salary, you can basically come in any time, work an hour a week, and you're done. You know.
Well, I mean, it depends on, you know, what you do that day or whatever, but our average day is about 10 hours, you know, 8 to 10 hours.
Wow.
Monday through Friday.
Well, I mean, that's.
But that's only on recruiting.
Right, that's only on recruiting duty, you know, but most jobs are like 8 hours. We work 8 hours a day, off on weekends.
Do you have like a set schedule, or do you just like, well, I don't feel like going in until 10 o'clock. I'll go in at 10 and work until 6. I
mean, we have that flexibility in recruiting command, but if you're in the Army at the regular flagpole, everything is organized. You know, when you work from 9 to 4, you have a formation accountability at 9 o'clock to make sure everybody's alive and well or whatever, and then you have another formation at 4 o'clock to make sure that, you know, no one got hurt and everybody's accounted for, and then you're released.
Okay, do you have like a secretary that keeps your schedule and stuff like that, or are you your own secretary? Or
Yes.
You're your own secretary?
No, I have a secretary that keeps my schedule, that keeps my calendar, you know, let me know where I need to be, and so forth.
So when you come in the day, you probably know what you're going to be doing for the day then?
Yes, absolutely. It's planned out.
Okay, now, Staff Sergeant, because I keep forgetting.
I should write this down.
Yeah, I did write it down, see?
No, give me a piece of paper.
You put my pen cap in your mouth. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna...
whatever.
Okay, anyways. He doesn't remember my ink doesn't...
Well,
Let's see if it writes. Okay, anyways. What do you do in your free time?
My free time, I spend most of it with my little boy. Take him out fishing, take him out walking in the woods, teach him to respect nature, and basically just spend time with the family.
now look, I drew arrows. Staff Sergeant's there, First Sergeant's there.
Ew, we have to touch that pen cap later. Okay. Now, you both have children, so when your children become 17 or 18 years old, are you going to push them towards, or at least give them the decision to go into the military, or?
Yes, absolutely. If my daughter, she already says that she wants to be a soldier, so that's her decision. If she wants to be a soldier, I'll support her 100%. Absolutely.
I wanted to be a policeman, but look where I'm at now.
I did too.
I only wanted to do it to beat up the hippies.
We don't have any more.
When I was born, there were hippies. My mom was a hippie. I don't know. I didn't want to beat her up. Some of her friends were just stupid. Okay, Staff Sergeant. Hey, looky, I used it. Okay, so when your son grows up, are you gonna,
If he wants to join, I'll support him. But my wife, that's another question.
Does she hate the military?
No,
well, not. I shouldn't say hate it.
She loves it.
Oh, does
she? She likes the support that it gives her. Even when I'm not able to be there, there's support systems that are in place to help her get through the hard times that she may come across.
Right.
And some of my friends also, their families have people just like yourself with cerebral palsy, stuff like that. That there's actually also buffers in there that help them medically.
Right.
And their assignments are also dictated by the ailments that they have. It's called the EFMP program. It's Exceptional Family Member Program.
Cool.
So there's buffers and systems there to help everybody out.
That's very cool.
Okay. So to end the show, I have a segment which I'm going to change right here because I can't talk about politics. Actually, I should probably ask in more detail. Now, and we'll start with First Sergeant, and then we'll end up with Jeremy here. If you were told you could have any rank and any job in the military you wanted, and just because you like the job so much, and you want to be able to manage things the way you want, and am I allowed to ask this question at all? Because this is like if you had a choice, Okay, what would it be and why?
Absolutely will be the position that I hold right now, because I'm recently promoted, last year to First Sergeant. And this is the rank where, Sergeant Major is the highest rank that you can go. But as a Sergeant Major, you're so far away from the little people down here that's helping you day to day that you're not out there in a fight with them every day. And my job, being a First Sergeant and being able to impact kids' lives, changing a kid's life where they wouldn't have an opportunity anywhere else, and that's the most important thing that I do. So I would definitely have to say being a First Sergeant in the Army, not a Sergeant Major, being a First Sergeant, because you're still right there with the soldiers, you're still there training them, providing that leadership, out there on the ground with them day in and day out. So this would definitely be the best job I've had in the Army over my last 15 and a half years.
And one quick question here. Are you... Now, I know some are like third, second, first. Are you third, second, or first? Or if for like First Sergeant, third class, something like that? Or
no, it's just First Sergeant.
Okay.
Like I'm an E8, and the highest rank you can go is E9.
Okay. Staff Sergeant, if you had a choice...
Again, it'd be the same rank I am now. Because I've always strived to be a leader and a teacher. So at the rank I am now, I still have the ability to lead and also to teach younger soldiers and also younger people, period, what they need to survive and make it as an adult.
Wow.
Corporal. Change my name to Punishment. No, I thought about it because, like I was telling you, I had played a game where you could rank yourself up. I actually like being a sergeant, believe it or not, because the duties, now this is going by the game that we played, the duties, I didn't have to, command a whole squad, but I commanded about
platoon.
5 or 6 people,
What is 5 or 6 people? Is that
It's a team.
That's
It would be a team? Okay.
Like a team leader.
Yeah, and that's all I really, and that's, a team leader, it's interesting to say, 'cause my dad's been a team leader, he used to be a team leader for years. And I liked doing that. I liked leading a group of people and saying, hey, I think we should do this. Let's go and let's, execute. And that's what I like doing. So maybe a sergeant, maybe even a little higher rank. That'd be kind of cool too. But right now, I think a sergeant would be pretty sweet. I wouldn't want to be private.
I hear First Sergeant's pretty sweet.
But yeah, sergeant would definitely be cool.
So
'Cause then they call me Sarge.
it wouldn't make any sense if it was sergeant. What would you say? Sergeant punishment.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, then I don't know what I'd call myself. You know, I don't know.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Wow.
I was talking to Staff Sergeant Ward before we started here, and if you could, for the people listening, starting from the lowest rank, just brief detail and move up to the highest rank before officer that one can achieve.
Okay, starting out, you come in as a private. It's the lowest rank we have. There's no insignia, it's just a position in the Army. Basically, you're told what to do, when to do it, where to do it every day. Up from there, we got what we call PV2, which is again a private, but you have one chevron. And it's basically the same thing. You got a little bit more responsibility that comes with it. Private first class, it's basically just a step up in responsibility from each rank change. Now, when you get up to specialist, they consider you to be proficient in your job, whatever your job may be at that time. And from there, you move. This is when you start getting more into the leadership positions. A corporal is what we call a lateral promotion. It is basically a specialist that is given the leadership position. From there, you go up to sergeant, which is E5. It's the basic leadership position in an infantry squad or section or whatever it may be for the specific job. They basically train 4 individuals, like you said earlier. Mm-hmm. From there, you move up to staff sergeant, which is a squad leader. You have 3 chevrons and 1 rocker. A rocker is the half circle underneath.
Yeah, like what you have.
Right. Basically, what he is in charge of the welfare, the well-being, and all the equipment of the 8 soldiers in his squad, because in a squad you have 2 fire teams, mm-hmm. and then you move up to the squad level. From there, you move up to sergeant first class. He is in charge of anywhere between 3 and 5 squads, depending on how the unit is set up. Each unit is set up differently.
Oh, nice.
And from there, you have master sergeant, and then you have first sergeant, which is basically a lateral promotion with more responsibility. From there, you move up into the sergeant major ranks. They are more responsible for the operation of the day-to-day responsibilities of the Army at different levels, all the way up to the actual command sergeant major of the Army, which works in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Wow, very cool.
Wow. Okay. I'm thinking, wow. And I wanted to be a police officer. Silly me. Okay. We'll end the show on that note. Thank you, First Sergeant Rocket and Staff Sergeant Ward, for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. And thanks for joining.
What, you don't thank me?
I was about to get to it.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm just going to thank you for being late.
Oh, whatever. What do you mean late? I was here 10 minutes early.
It's like Ray was behind. Ray still rocks, though. Okay. Thank you for listening. If these episodes play in order, and then we have a good one coming up, so don't miss it. Thank you.